Is conflict really an issue in business today? Well, in 2008, OPP did a survey and they found out that people reported that they wasted 2.1 hours every day on conflict. Now, in the UK alone, that equates to 370 million working days. So I think we can safely say that it is a business issue. My name's Pauline Siddons. I've been training conflict management for over 16 years. And my favourite tool, the most popular tool of its type, is the Thomas Kilmann Conflict Mode Instrument, or TKI. In this short video, I'm going to introduce you to that model, bring it to life with some examples, and then show you how you can put it to use straight away. How do we normally behave in conflict? Well, the research shows us that we normally go to a habitual type of conflict management. Kilmann found in his research that over 54% of managers have only one style that they habitually use during conflict. Now, that's obviously not going to be effective for all situations. If you do what you've always done, you'll get the results that you've always got. The TKI model has 5 different modes, so it will give you a choice and it will give you control over the situation so you can manage the conflict better. Let me introduce you to the model. So here we can see the TKI model. You can see at the bottom we're plotting cooperativeness, and you can think of that as how much of your partner's needs are getting met. Up the axis at the side, the y-axis, we're plotting assertiveness, and you can think of that as how much of your own needs are getting met. So let's start at the top left, competing. This is where you win the argument at the expense of the other person who gets none of their needs met. At the bottom right, we have accommodating, which is the opposite. You give in completely, you get none of your needs met, and the other person wins the argument. And then in the middle, we have compromising, which is what it sounds like. You get some of your needs met, and the other person gets some of their needs met, but neither of you get completely what you want. Down in the left-hand corner, we have avoiding, which is where nobody's needs get met, because the whole conflict is completely avoided. In the top right-hand corner, finally, we have collaborating. Now, this seems to be the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow because everybody gets their needs met, but it does take time and a creative solution to work out how to collaborate. So let's bring it to life with a real example. Let's say you're at a restaurant with a large group of friends, and at the end of the meal, when you're leaving, the waiter taps you on the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, you're £30 short." What do? Have a think now, what would you do personally in that situation? Now, are you thinking of options, or are you going back to your habitual conflict management style, perhaps? The TKI can give us 5 different behaviours in that situation. So to compete, you'd say, "I'm sorry, I'm not paying you. It's not my £30. I've already paid my money. I'm not paying." If you choose to accommodate, you could say, "Look, I'm really sorry. One of my friends must have forgotten to pay. Here's your £30. The compromise would be, "Well, it's not my £30, but I'll give you 15. Is that okay?" Avoid might look like legging it, or you could be more professional and give the waiter your phone number and say, "Look, it's really late. Can we sort this out tomorrow? I'll ring you in the morning." Or you could say, "Look, I need to speak to the manager," in which case you're avoiding the conflict with the waiter. Collaboration might take a bit more thought, and you need to really understand what the waiter needs. He doesn't need £30. He wants a profitable business. So you might say to him, "Well, I'm not going to give you the £30 because I don't owe it. But what I will do is I'll get the whole company to come to your restaurant for the Christmas party." So that in that way, both needs are getting met. You can also use temporary mode. So you could avoid and then deal with it later. You could accommodate and give the waiter the £30, and then the next morning you could compete with your friends, ring around and say, "Okay, guys, who didn't pay?" So you have a lot of different options using the model. So how do you know which mode to use at the right time? Well, the best time to use compete is when you're an expert or you've got status. You know you're right, so you enforce your own opinion. You could do it in a very nice way, a polite way, explain why that you're saying that you need to get your needs met, but nevertheless you compete and you win the argument. If the relationship is more important to you, and you're okay to lose the battle but to win the war, you might accommodate and give in on this particular occasion. A compromise is really good if you're in negotiation, especially sales negotiations when you're haggling about a price. Compromise is a really good mode to consider. Avoid is really good if emotions are high and people are not thinking straight, to temporarily avoid the conflict, to say, look, we can't deal with it, let's meet tomorrow to discuss this. Or you could escalate it if neither of you have the ability to solve the conflict. Collaboration seems like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but in fact it takes a lot of effort. So use it sparingly, but use it when you do need your needs met, but the relationship with the other person is also really important. So I hope that you've enjoyed this short video and you've got the confidence to maybe try out some of these modes the next time you find yourself in a recurring argument.